Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa. Today I'm going to turn some 12 by 12 papers into some fun signature pages. And they can be double-sided or single-sided. I'm kind of gearing this toward single-sided just because that's what I have the most of. And I know most people have single-sided too. I am using 12 by 12. They're getting cut down, so you probably could use for this same method 8.5 by 11s. So here is the example, and this was a digital that was white on one side. I did use just some ink to grunge it up a little bit. This piece is one of the 12 by 12s, and this is from a 12 by 12, and it's got like a little flap in there, and it leaves room for pockets on both sides like that. I'm trying to do it left-handed, my hand's not working. And then there's a pocket in here as well as a pocket on this side. So easy, so fun. Let's make some. Okay, so these were 12 by 12s. They have been cut down to 8 inches tall. Right, isn't that what I cut them? Yeah, 8 inches tall. And this one is also 8 inches tall. But they are both 12 to 12 by to start. Okay, so the one that you're going to want to use with the flip-flop, we're just going to, up, down? I think that's it, down. We are just going to take it and fold it in half, because that would be like where the signature goes. But since it is 12 inches, this is 6 inches, which is usually much too big for a journal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score it at 4 inches from each side. So we're going to score at 4 from that side, and we're going to score 4 from this side. All right, so that is going to leave the little pockets we have. I tried 4.5. 4.5 would work also. It just didn't leave as much room for the pocket because it stuck out about another half an inch, but totally fine. That just made, and you can kind of see I had a little fold there. It just made the flap in the center a little bit smaller. So 4, 4.5, up to you. All right, so we have that, and what we're going to do is we are going to fold it so that flap is upward, and we're going to go ahead and make sure it has a nice bone fold. Now this, the scrapbook paper that I picked is a little more cardstocky, a little thicker. I definitely want to make sure it's got enough a push to it. Okay, so we're going to want to attach it to something. Now, like I said, this was a digital printed on one side, and then I just inked on it. But I'm going to use a coffee dye for this one, and we're just going to attach it. Now, I'm going to a little bit of rip there. I'm going to put that rip near the bottom. I'm going to fold it in half so I know where the center is, and go from there. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to glue the flip-flop together just so it stays together. So we're just going to take some glue. You can see the, oops, there we go. You can see the folds. And push it together. All right, I also did round this just to make it a little fancier in the end. Okay, so now we have our lovely little flip-flop. Now, I'm going to attach the pocket to the center, but if you wanted to leave this because it's pretty, you could do that. But yeah, so we're going to take care of that, and we're going to see where that fold is. And we're just going to glue it in place. And since there are side tuck pockets, we're going to go ahead and, that was crooked. Just going to glue the top and the bottom. And we're going to make sure it is solidly in the crease, because when you go to eventually add it to your journal, it's going to get sewn. Your pokey parts, your pokey part's going to go in here, let's get the one that's done. This is going to go into a journal. So your, fold this piece in half. This would be the journal page. And you have that, and that, and then you have that, and that. So you're going to want to, when you go to add it, it's going to get poked in there through here, or here, whichever side it ends up popping out, because that's in the middle. But you want to make sure that this is far down to make it easier to sew through. I guess that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so I got the one side nice and glued, and what I forgot to do is I just noticed I forgot to put the thumb holes. Not necessary, but I think it helps a little bit for that. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to. It's there. It's a little littler than I probably would have done, but there we go. And then all we're going to do is do our last side and glue that down. Now I'm going to leave it closed for a bit, because if you go to open it, I had it happen with this, it slid a little bit, so I want to make sure it gets, and look, I forgot to even go back and put a little bit more on there. It slid a little bit. I want to make sure it is good and glued down before I go to reopen this again. But that is how, I'm going to sort of open it, that is how we're going to get a 12 by 12 on a coffee dye piece of paper. Now let's do one, and then I'll come back in a minute. This will be dry, and we'll add the center flap. Let's go ahead and make one from double-sided. All right, so I have this double-sided one. It's a 12 by 12, and so I want to cut it the height-wise down for a journal, and most of them are usually 8.5 inches tall. So I'm going to cut off, I'm going to make it 8. I'm going to cut off 4 inches just because it's easier. And I'm going to cut the top off 4, because I think this would make possibly fun journal cards or pockets or something, versus cutting that bottom off. So we're going to cut that off at 4, and we can save that for something else. I love it. All right, so now we have the 8 by 12. And again, like I said, that would be a little bit too big for a journal card. So we're just going to fold it in half. Nice and bone folded. And we're going to score it at 4. So this will be a nice pocket on the one side, and then we'll score 4 here, and this will be a nice actually writing space on the other side. Writing space that, and then fold it into itself, and there we go. Okay, once again, we got a little mountain. Now this would be fun. This would be one that could be fun to not cover, because it's got a little bit of place for journaling. But I'm going to cover this one so that you see, and then I'm going to add the flippy floppy thing to show you how easy it was to do that. Okay, so there we go. One little flippy floppy. Cute in a signature, right? And we would add it to a coffee dye page, just like that. Now, for the thumbhole pockets, what I did was I just folded it and cut them together so that they're even. Not that it totally matters, because they'll be separated on a page, but just made it easier for me to do. And just trying to center it a bit, and there we go. All right, so that would get glued on there, top and bottom, for that. Now for the flippy floppy thing, I actually found this 12 by 12. I have cut it down. I did like it for And I just realized it doesn't matter if it's double-sided because you never see this other side. Silly Lisa. Silly Lisa, that was just kind of a waste. Okay. You definitely don't need double-sided. Unless you wanted to put that into a journal on its own, and not cut the flips out and just have it be a page in your journal, that's fine. But yeah, it doesn't need to be double-sided. Okay. And, oh, for the flippy floppies. So this one was a 12 by 12. I started it out. I cut it to be just 8 inches high instead of, or 7.5 inches high instead of the 8 inches, just to make it a little bit smaller. And I cut it down to 9. So this is just a bit smaller. So this is a 9 by 7.5. Yep, 9 by 7.5. I'm just going to fold it in half, and we're going to make that as the flip pocket to go on there. Now, the one that I did for this example, I cut this down to just 6 inches, taking the 12 by 12 down to 6 inches, and then cut it down to 9. So it made it just a shorter pocket. But this is just another way to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. If you wanted to and not make it a pocket, you could just glue it on and then have this place where you can add things and decorate to it. Kind of like an extra little place to put photos or glue some, you know, whatever you want to on there. And then you'd be able to have it as an extra little flippy floppy page. Now for the pocket, what I did was I did take, and like the other one, I did go ahead and did the thumb hole first and put it on there. I'm going to lower it to the bottom so that it gives enough room on the top to stick something in. All right, so we're going to start with a little bit of glue here. And we're going to push that into its right space. And fold it down. Make sure it's not sticking out. And there we go. All right, so all we're going to do is go ahead and put some more glue there. And put some down this side. Don't have to glue this side because it's just a fold. All right, even on the bottom. And there we go. So now we have a flip-flop in the center. And I did I did put the thumb notch centered on the pocket. It made it a little easier to put something in there because you kind of have something behind it to go ahead and rest it against when you're putting stuff in. So I didn't mind that it was over. If you want to center it more on the open part, you might have to measure, but I do not mind it being overlapping just a tad, just a tad. Okay, and I forgot to glue this side. There we go. All right, now we're attached. Now to glue it on this page, like I said, we're going to go ahead and just fold this to figure out approximately where the center is and attach this. Yeah, that is quite the shame that I did that, but this is what happens. And I've said it before, I don't sugarcoat my stuff. I make a mistake, I'll let you know, so you don't make that mistake. So don't bother using double-sided paper in this. Just use white back paper, single-sided. Right, we're going to fold it over and glue the second side. And with this one, again, I'm going to wait for it to fully dry before I go to open it again, just to make sure it doesn't slip. But you're going to see that I'm trying not to open it too hard so it slips, but that is going to be a fun little pocket, right? All right, since I kind of messed that double-sided one up, we're going to just do one more that is not double-sided. single side white on both sides, just to finish it off. Okay, so once again, we have an 8-inch tall, or 12 by 12, we cut off 4 inches, so we have 8 by 12. And we're going to fold it in half. And it doesn't matter which way you fold in half, because in the end, you're just going to end up scoring it and folding it back the correct way. I'm going to fold it in half, and we're going to score it at 4 inches. I think if you found a whole bunch of neutral papers that you wanted to do this with, you could definitely make a whole bunch of signatures to be able to throw in something so easily. Okay, you're going to go this way, and you're going to go this way, and you're going to go this way. Okay, and a little bit of glue in the center. Beautiful. So pretty. Okay, so for the flippy floppy, I picked this. It's kind of neutral, but I think it works good. Now this one is the 12 inches. I have not cut it down yet for that. So we need to cut off 3 inches to make it 9. So we're just going to cut off 3. So we got a 3-inch piece and a 9-inch piece. Now again, if this one was this one's 8 inches tall, so it would fit the whole thing. But if I wanted a little smaller, and I think maybe I do, I'm going to fold it in half. And I think I'm going to cut it down. Make it 6 inches high. That works good. Make it 6 inches high. Yeah, I like the 6 inches. I think it leaves a nice area up top. And we'll go ahead and center punch. We'll go ahead and center punch. And we'll attach the pocket. So as you can see, this would be so easy to make. You can, score and fold all of them. You could go ahead and then do all the punching, the thumb holes, do all the gluing at once, and just make a whole bunch of fun little signature pages with flippy floppy pockets. Now, like I said before, I did not see this specifically on a channel recently, but that doesn't mean it didn't seep in my brain somewhere and someone else did it, or something similar, and I, took my take on it. I can't say for sure either way, so I do apologize if you know somebody that's done it first and it's their thing, please let me know. But I'm not totally trying to take just credit for it, because as we all know, there's so many things that are not new in this world. So cute in there, right? Little pocket. You can still see the... what's nice too is because when you go to put another page in there, I'm gonna grab this. When you go put another page in there, you're gonna see something else behind it, not necessarily that. And there we go. Okay, so let's say we want to attach it to this one. We're going to want to attach it on the white side so that the page is there. And if you don't like the white, this is where you can go ahead and decorate it using, I've done this before, watercolors, inking it, stamping it, just whatever you want to do, or leave it white if that is your so-called preference. I'm just going to round this top corner. I think that looks nicer that way. Let's see. I think I put the flowers upside down, did I? It's hard to tell. They really kind of go both ways. right, I think a green color would look pretty with this. So let's see. Sometimes these have enough ink on them to ink, and this one, not so much. All right, let's take a little peeled paint and let's throw some ink on there. And you don't have to go all the way in, because when you put it down, it's gonna show. Now, if this page was cut, a lot of mine was cutting to 7.5. I think this one is 8, so it's pretty well equal, but I'm just gonna throw a little bit on the top there where it would go like that, just in case, but I think we're okay. I'm starting in the center and I'm working my way out, because when you start these sponges, you kind of get that kind of glob sometimes, and not always the prettiest glob. So if you start in the center, it's going to be hidden a little bit more. And it's kind of fun to go off the edge too, because then it really does highlight the edge. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty. I like the green. All right, let's glue it down. And we call this one done. All right, I have folded it. And I'll put some there and put some there. Oops. And put a little here. And some there. Oops. Look. Get to the end. There we go. Okay, and like the other ones, we're going to let this dry. Make sure it really stays well. Okay, the first one I did that I didn't put the pocket in is dry enough. So I'm going to go ahead and, I'm not sure I want to add a pocket, because that flower is so pretty, right? So what if I did like just enough on their pocket? Let's do that. Okay, so I think I'm gonna cut this one in half. So it'll be a 6x6 piece of paper. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. All right, so what I'm going to do, just because I'm not sure where I want to fold it, is I'm going to glue this down. It's one side down. Crafting by the seat of my pants is what this is. Kind of move it up a little bit, because I did round that corner to keep it kind of fancy. All right, so we're going to glue that down. Okay, so I want a big enough pocket on this side, but I don't necessarily need one on that side. That can be more like a tab. So let's do that. Now, if I wanted it to be bigger on both sides, I could have made it, not cut it down to 6, but I think I'm okay with that. Okay, so we're going to fold it right there. And I'm just going to put a pocket thumb hole on this side. And I'm going to find my little There we go. Unexpected, but there we go. And we'll put some glue on here and here. Okay. Little crafting improv. I definitely don't mind it. All right, so you've got a pocket on this side, and I'm not going to really probably put anything in there because it's going to get stuck, or not stuck, but you know what I mean, the glue. But if you've got a card, it's a little skinnier, that would go in there beautifully. And then this side could just be decorated with something, add a little fun trim to it, maybe some stickers. Yeah, I could definitely maybe put a tab on here just to show it's a little bit longer. But yeah, you could easily, like I said, put a card in one side and put a card in the other side. And we'll pretend this is a card. Put a card in there for one-sided, and very fun. I love it. All right, flip-flop pockets on a signature. Very fun flip-flops. I did lots of florals because, you know, spring for that out of the one paper pack. And of course the double-sided one. It's very cute, very fun, but not necessarily. So, single-sided papers, much more fun. I love it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you got some ideas maybe to make your own fun little pages to put in signatures, as well as maybe an idea for a new way to add some pockets to stuff. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more things from me, please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you get notified when videos pop up. Okay, well, that's going to be it for me today. I appreciate each and every one of you that stopped by. And as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.